We have celebrated Asma Khan with us this afternoon and Zareen Ali Desai. I'm Sreyashi Ghosh and I'm very happy to be with such powerful women. So how does it feel to be back in Kolkata, your city? And please take us down food's memory lane.
It's a kind of sense that I never left, which only a place like Calcutta can have, because I've traveled around the world and I've lived more years away than I have lived in this country. It's now been over 3 decades of living in the West, in the UK. And, but there's a sense of homecoming which is very hard to explain. I almost feel like even the dust recognizes me. I feel the trees know my name. I feel a sense of familiar, which is also unfamiliar because the way Calcutta is changing, the old houses. Oh, thank you. And my favorite thing, fresh lime soda, sweet salt. Yes. There's some things like in the club which I have to have a sip just so nostalgic. See, it's unchanged. This is the great thing, that the simplest thing that Calcutta haven't changed. And thank God all the kind of places that hold my memories are still there. Like Armenia, I remember that every time my mother took me to Newmarket, she would make me buy chicken, meat, all kinds of things, and she'd buy some stuff from mountains for my father. And we would go to Armenia, I'd get filmi and paratha. And if I was very good, I'd get mutton chana. And I still have this thing about chana bhatura quality. And sadly now closed. But when I was growing up here, Sky Room was iconic. And Mocambo as well, and Peter Cat. So these are the things that, I know a lot has changed, and people say, oh, these are the boring, Park Street, same places. There's a lot of new stuff that's happening, but I can tell you one thing, that, especially my age, I'm 56, and people who are older, every time you come into there's a sense of loss. Either your own family members or friends, or old family house like mine has been broken up. But I think that it would be a second year of bereavement if you passed a restaurant that you always went to, like Qualities or Armenia, Mocambo, and that was boarded up and closed. We never understood that this is also our heritage, it's memories, and we take it for granted like we take our own parents and grandparents for granted. The mango tree at the back of the house, the one you just expect every summer to give fruit. The day that it is cut and that house is gone, that loss, we are all experiencing it or will experience it. The loss of the homeland, of your house. And thank God for Calcutta food scene that it has evolved. She's one living proof of someone who's doing something so exceptional. But you see a lot of this in the West and less over here. So she's doing something very radical, very different. And I think the world is big enough for everybody. The old, nostalgic, beautiful places of Calcutta, the young blood bringing in change. Everything is here.
So you spoke about the soda Sikanji next to Bhutija and from Lamatnia. So it's kind of, resounding when I'm back. So what about all those other things like the mishti shops or a particular mishti or the mishti doi?
Yeah, no, I
with your family or with the next generation, where would you take your kids to get a flavor of your past kind of thing?
So Gopal Chandra Halda, which is on Wayfair Road, opposite Yes. Best shingara, rabri, and my God, the rasgulla. And mithai, which is on top of going down into Park Circus Market. I love the doi. And anywhere I'm looking for, I'm a huge thing about Khirkadam. I will go everywhere to Khirkadam, and the highlight of coming here in winter is no less doing everything. From rasgulla to...
Cheers on that.
Yes. And this, it's the earthiness of the Malay and the flavors that it puts in everything. Someone asked me in London that, what is Nola influence? I was tongue-tied. I didn't know where to start because it's not, you can't describe it. You live it. It rolls on your tongue and then it's the senses, but before you eat it, it's the aroma of the earth. And I don't know how to start. Do I start explaining the aroma? Do I explain the taste? Or do I explain how it's used? Eventually I managed to explain it to him. But
so in your recipes, you talk about so many different kinds of things, so many different ingredients. The monsoon, of course, we've left the monsoons behind, I think. So, how does that resonate, when it's the fetish or the smell of the earth, all of that, and then you're a coffee connoisseur, so now that people are gravitating from tea to coffee, how do you think the old and the new meets?
So I am the old, let the new speak.
I think more than, would want to expand on the topic. So we were at the farm during COVID. We went there when, in fact, the state government had announced that shut everything down for 7 days. And till up to that point, we used to pack everything from home. Like, we're going for 2 days, we'll take the chicken or the chawal, everything. For 2 days, we'll take it and go. So we did the same thing for 7 days. We were like, it's just going to be like nothing to do, let's go and just relax. And we got locked down. 2 days in, the national lockdown was announced. So we knew we had food for 7 days. And then we were like, okay, now what's going to happen? So we started kind of exploring the local market. Bahar niklo, okay, this is the rice you're going to get, this is the sabzi, this is already growing at the farm, that kind of thing. And it kind of went from March to, seasons changed. We got all the vegetables that we needed at the farm. And then winter came, and around, I think May was when Amphan had it, and we were there. And up until then, we were kind of living in a little bubble. Then people would complain from home that they bahar nahi nikal rahe hain, there's a lockdown, you can't go out, you can only go out for 2 hours in the morning. And we were comfortably living at the farm, open space, children were running around, and when Amphan hit, there was no power. All the electricity lines fell. So we went back to the city, and that's when it hit us. This is how people are living in their apartments, locked up. No one has, not everybody has access to open space. And I think 3 weeks we were in the city, and then we went back, and with the feeling that we want to share with the people, we want to open up the space. I think back then everyone kind of believed that by winter COVID was going to be gone. It's really hot, so once it sets in this degree, and then COVID is going to be gone. So we planted our field, and hoping that we start our farm to table in December that year in 2020, but vegetables were ready and we were not. COVID was still raging. The second wave was starting to come in. So we were like, okay, now what do we do with all of these vegetables? So I put them in bags, and I called my friends and family, and I would drive back once a week all the way from the farm and go all across the city, like 8 or 9 bags we would get every week, and go and just drop bags at people's homes. People like older people or people who are not being able to get out. So it started with that, and then I finally managed to start the farm a year later in 2021 in December. But when I put word out, not one taker. Ye kya hai? Why should we come to this? What's so special? We want to come for lunch, we want to come for dinner. I was like, no, that's not what I have in mind. Come and spend time under the trees in the open. Absolutely. And we did the first one with just the whole family friends. I think 6 people or 7 people. And we got COVID. First time, we had people coming in from outside, the whole family, like my husband, me, and both the kids. So then we shut it down for another month. We got better. And then we were like, okay, let's try this again. I told my nephew and niece, Nilfer's kids who are now much older. Kids. I call them kids because they're like my bachchans. And they brought some friends and they put photos out on Instagram, and that was it. There's been no looking back. But come winter was the first time that I actually saw how this wood is, You know, like from the first process. So Kali Puja happens. Right after Kali
they
Puja
extract it.
you have to call them and they clean the tree. So they, you know, the older leaves are cut down. So, you know, it's the preparation to what you finally get on your plate. So they come and they clean, these people will climb up, and then after that they come again and they check it. Then finally, as winter sets in, they come, they make the cuts, they'll hang the pots, and then they have to be collected very early in the morning. So then you get mira, which is the saps, it smells funky, but it tastes delicious. And then you collect that, and then you have to boil it. And because we have like small amounts, it's not done in those big vats. It's done in like agharka, dechi. So, but then, you know, we dig that hole in the ground and we do like a good fire and all that. It's amazing. And then what we get is
Pure gold. So you are also, you know, the UN World Food Program advocate as the, you know, the food and the farmers and the sustainability angle. How do you marry them all in? I mean, you have that platform. How do you think others would be inspired or?
From food. If you write about food, if you enjoy food, you have a duty of care to those who cannot eat. Without a doubt, how can you enjoy what is on your table if you know that there is starvation and hunger? You cannot solve the world's problem, but you can show empathy and you can be supportive. Even before I did anything, this is 2012. My first supper clubs in my house were all for hunger charities, where I would invite the charities to come and speak. I raised money for something called a nut butter, because I noticed one thing, that when we went, and you know, I was reading all this stuff, mothers never ate. In war zones and famines, if it would look like food, she would give it to her children. The mothers were starving and running on empty. We had to find a way of getting nutrition into women that was dense, easy to digest. So like a toothpaste, it's nut-based and dates. Dates are soluble fiber. Women need iron. That iron, especially women, every month they lose so much blood. I worked on this, which by the way I haven't told many people about this, but I worked to raise a lot of money for this. And we also, so initially when I started making money, I set up a feeding camp, and it was 10,000 pounds, which was everything I earned the whole year. So literally nothing. I gave that entire thing to feeding camp because I heard that mothers were carrying their boys to the feeding camp because it was intravenous. We were leaving the girls behind. So I set up a way of those girls who were left behind getting the nut butter, so they were alive when their mother came back to them. If she did. And I come from there. Everything that has happened to me is by the way, actually. That's where I started. That's where I want to end. That is my mission in life, is to feed the hungry. I am very religious. People may not understand this looking at me. I am deeply spiritual and religious. I understand one thing, all our lives are divided. None of us are guaranteed the next one. Every day, you live one day less, I live one day less. How is the best way I could spend this day? If I could lift another woman, I could be positive. I could smile and encourage someone. I could feed someone who was hungry. Then if I didn't see the next day, I did something. I am driven by that. This is not a business. This is driven by a deep sense of gratitude. I come from an Nawab family, I come from royal heritage. I had a very good lifestyle in this country, in London too. I had the King visiting me, yes. I had Paul Rudd visiting me too. And I'm grateful. And then for me to sit back and say, oh, I'm so great. It's a waste of my life. So I do a lot of work. So last Ramzan, I did the Gaza field for the working program. And that was gone. I raised a lot of money. I raised money in my restaurant. Every bottle of water we sell, that entire money goes to helping feed a school of girls in a very deprived area. They get khichdi, but because of that khichdi, their parents send them to school. So all the girls go to school, and we make enough so they can take home. That's why the girls come to school. Otherwise, they would not be sent to school. They get free khichdi, and they get eggs. So, you know, I always keep thinking all my time, it's not about opening new restaurants and doing exciting things. I keep thinking, what is a smart way that I can nourish a woman or a girl? What are the clever things that I can do? Think of ways. So, feeding for me is a different thing. I don't need the praise and the accolade and the money. I need to know I did the right thing. My life is balancing that between doing in service of the poor and the hungry and using my platform to speak about it, but without being this preachy shrill person. I don't want to lecture you and say, make you feel guilty. Go live your life. But if the only thing you can do is be kind to someone else, I'm happy. And if you don't want to be kind, that's also fine. You're still my friend. I'm not judging anybody because, you know, in my faith, we always say, you know, we only get judged by God. Then what is my right to judge someone else? I don't judge. I know I will be judged. And that's my imtihan, my exam. I have to pass that. That's my duty. Everything else is fine. So, a lot of what I do is done on faith. But one where it is without hatred, without us and them and you and thing and I'm so, this is the right path, that's the. I don't care. I run a race where I do not see who's on this side or that side. Because my race is not the same as a white man in the West. And my race is not the same as a white woman.
And you have an all-woman crew kitchen and a male-dominated
I run a race that is like nobody else's. But also, when I started this race, I had to hit hurdles. I had to go through fire. No one wanted to invest in me. Everybody laughed at me. They all told me I failed. I was put through fire. But I came out glistening like gold. And that is when my strength comes.
I think you're more like Asia's Julia Child than teaching the West about developing an Indian palate. So how does it feel now to host this Food Network show? You're talking about the kebab inside the bun, which makes it into a burger.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. They didn't at all edit me. There was no script, no nothing. I was chilled out. I did what I wanted, and I spoke about what I wanted. I cooked what I wanted. It was great fun. I will not do TV if some usually man, white man, is standing next to me and making stupid jokes. I'm so sorry. I don't find it funny. No, it's not. Everybody knows my reputation is such that they know I can do nonsense person. And so television I do is very selective. And you know, coming soon, inshallah, is different stories which I shot, you know, in India over a length of time because of different seasons that we had to capture. And we captured different seasons, so Delhi in winter to, you know, in the middle of the field, and then Goa, and then, you know, South India, Hyderabad. We really kind of go through everything. And I speak to some of the iconic Indians. This is being directed by Raja Khanna, who's just doing this unbroken, this cricket documentary. So, he's a great filmmaker. So I've done this fabulous thing. It will come out soon. I hope it will be visible in a more global way. Because it's important for me to make what I work accessible. So, you know, we're not sure how we're going to do it because, of course, there's zoning for everything. We try to find a way of not zoning so that it is free for everyone to see. So we're trying to get that there. And that's exciting. And I think I like telling stories about food.
Well, she's probably going to be the female barista who's going to teach other women to take this up. So what do you have to say about being in that space? Z Cafe, how did that happen? You have these vinyl afternoons every Sundays. So yeah, so two women entrepreneurs.
Simply because it started with food and serve. But I had started a food takeaway service before Swiggy as a matter of 2010, 11, and unfortunately something happened with the family, and my father-in-law was like, I need somebody from the family to kind of just look at the accounts. Everybody was doing their own thing. So I was like, okay, I have time. Like a little because I was mostly doing work over the weekends. So it started with like a 2 hours, a couple of days a week. And I started finding different and then he just kept increasing. And then finally he fired me. And I come from an arts background, I'm not from an accounts background. And I was like, okay, now what? So and then people used to, again, the older men in the company used to be like, in Bengali they used to say that, oh, to CA. And our accountant used to say, nah, BA. He was trying to say BA correct. Like, not even the arts background. He used to say not BA. That's why she's handling the accounts. You saw her.
Oh, that's so typical. And this is so, the gaslighting is just...
The gaslighting, I think, has become worse in the younger generation.
No, I think the younger generation have much. So then what happened?
So I mentioned I did
So from BA, how did you become slave?
No, I did a diploma in taxation. I studied.
You should have straightened the ball out.
No, because see, for me, it's, it was, firstly not, I didn't know, I was kind of swimming in the deep. I didn't know how to navigate.
No, but that's important. You should. Sometimes I agree that you need to bolster yourself. And
So I did that, and then people kind of shut up. And then off went and fired the accountant. And then there was this another young accountant who had just joined around the same time. And he's a CEO. He taught me everything I know. So I've been working with the company for about 13 years now. And this guy is still there, and he's helped me through everything. But as every year passed, I was getting more and more depressed. Because I wasn't my calling. I kind of got thrown into it, and I kind of
what is the company?
It's an engineering firm. So they are distributors of gas engines. Huge size power generators and very...
Sounds very boring. I'm so sorry. Then what happened?
It's great for them.
I mean, you're creative. You need to do something hands-on.
So then finally I was like, this is Varun Muslim, that I'm upset and angry and depressed. And he's like, this is not the girl I married. Like, what happened to you? I told you not to, get so deep into the company thing. And then around the same time, my mother-in-law she had this space on Mayfair Road, right next to where we live, and she had this tiny art gallery, and she decided she needed a bigger space. So she shut that down, and she was like, look, the space is there in case I want to do something. But it's 300 square feet, so there's no cooking space, there's no kitchen space, plus I wouldn't even get like a fire license and all of that, because there's no exit, no like second exit from there. So then Varun and I were like, okay, we would like to do something, so kya kare? And so I did a couple of dessert pop-ups, so I love to bake. And people loved it. So we were like, why don't you do a coffee shop? Because we love coffee. And
I'm fine.
so how are you? But then again, that fear that, how am I going to do this? Will anybody come? I mean, pop-ups are different, friends and family, but how long will friends and family come? There's only because I've also learned the hard way, there's only so much that support that you're going to get from. They'll buy from you, but they're not going to keep sustaining you.
So you started.
So I was doing research and I don't know how to make it. Not the Dharmala coffee.
So before you came, we were talking about the challenges of the Kolkata palate and how it cannot go beyond the.
So now people are moving on to matcha.
Can I have another one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Indication of Calcutta palate. Not anything else. Same thing.
I love it. Every time we come here, this is it. No, not the that is first.
So yeah, I can imagine coffee being challenging.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything from it. Firstly, I hadn't worked in the friends were coming over and eating and partying and everything was happening. But then I found a coffee, like a barista course in the Kolkata in Bangkok. Because that was the closest. I had 2 kids to work with them, but the other one was really small that time.
Sunday, Monday, कुछ नहीं है.
I was like, okay, I have to leave and then I have to go. They come by their own. So I went to Bangkok and completed that course and I came back. And then I bought the machine. And I practiced for like 6 months. Just, on my own. Again, we call friends over. My husband and I would sit and just make all these different coffees. And every time I would decide on a date that okay, this is the day I was I was getting fever.
I've never tried.
Finally, my doctor said, listen, I think this is just so don't announce any date, don't plan anything, just open it. Open it one day and call everybody and say,
What do they give in Masala?
and that's how I opened it.
Which year was this?
2017. So I started in December 2017 and then I started the second one in 2020. This was inside Gurkha Institute on Park Street. And then COVID came, so that that was cut short. In fact, one of the reasons why the Bagan thing happened was because Amphan happened, and after that they were also like, look, things are not, they don't look like they're going to open up anytime soon. So you can pack your things and take them. So I packed it, took it to Bagan, and while we were having this full discussion of having people over, I had all the plates and the cutlery and the glasses and the coffee machine because I bought a nice coffee machine for that cafe.
It's challenging to get the gadgets as well, right? Like the whole coffee setup.
So that I got lucky. I found this distributor who's been very helpful. He set everything up. They have a great service team. So this is something that my teacher in Kolkata Blue had said, that don't buy your machine outside or whatever. Do your research and see who's going to give you the best service. If suddenly your machine breaks down.
Because your machine, what stops is a small thing.
Yeah, little things, yeah. So they have like a 24-hour service team and they always there. And they come all the way to Dr. Pukur also.
Wow,
So
that you need,
yeah.
because you need the servicing and the support.
Do you feel at peace now? Do you feel like you will not get fever if you're supposed to open a new place?
I get a lot of butterflies and maybe nausea, not fever. A little bit control I've got over.
Do you feel better now and more confident?
Because now I think I've become a little bitchy almost. In the sense that when I started the cafe, a lot of people, and a lot of baristas, from different coffee shops would come and say, no, that's not how you make an iced cappuccino. That's how I make my iced cappuccino. That's how I'm going to service it.
Yeah, so that...
I think over the years, 7-8 years,
I think it's actually a lot harder. People don't understand this. If you're female and you're at the bottom of the pecking order.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the hardest one to do. We have some very sexy. There's this amazing young woman called Poppy. She does potatoes.
They don't own
she's loved by a lot of people, and she gets so much hate from people because she's young, she's enthusiastic. She makes great stuff. She's just funny, but people don't like her because she doesn't try to fit in, and she does her own thing, and she's very confident. And I think she's great, but I know there are a lot of people, men and women, they can't her, laugh at her, and write cruel things to her on social media. Which is just staggering. You think, what is wrong with you?
That's a challenge, right? I mean, both men and women are going to pose these, nasty remarks or challenges when you're young, you're independent, and you're enthusiastic, and you're not intimidated. I think that is something that every generation has to face, but that's how you become a strong entrepreneur, right?
But I think there is something that has to be said about Kolkata. I think Kolkata has given us, and we are generations apart, and I still feel that
On special visa.
there is
They come
something
to
magical
visa.
about this place. There is
And
something
walk
that
in.
is, a very big-hearted city. Because this city has seen from historical times, all kinds of people have come in here and left their culinary stories. Their houses may now have trees grown on them, and no one knows their names. But from everyone, from the Persians to the Chinese, whole Hakka tradition. Then, of course, this Mughal tradition, Portuguese, the Armenians, the Jews, the Iraqi influence that you have over here. It's fascinating. And you don't understand this, that because Calcutta is like a sponge, it's absorbed. This is only to do with food, huh? We've got a lot of other things from other people. But food, they're glad.
No, they're
But
not.
if you like tea, that's the amazing thing. The city is like a sponge. It picks up the aromas, takes the flavor, takes the fun. So she's been able to bring coffee because I think in the end, what is good, the city will embrace. There's no doubt about this. Otherwise, just imagine, that you have
We
dolma
can't
over
even
here.
escape because there is no.
And this our vegetable chop, poke, all these things, the sandwich, it's fascinating. That we have these great traditions coming in, Rizala, which is
Crab Thermidor on one end and Rizala and Nizamul on the other.
and this is because there is a lot of.
Have you heard
And I
of
would
place
tell
called
everybody who's a food entrepreneur in this country, come to Calcutta. Look at Calcutta. We are the food capital of India, without a doubt. And I'm not saying this because I'm Calcutta. Everywhere else, people are creating dishes of different things. But you never get the sense love for food that you get in Calcutta.
So where are the places that you go to London that you frequent? Which places do you frequent?
I frequent a lot of Afghan places.
Okay.
I love Afghan food. So I go to Dabar. I'm that Jhal Shara problem. No? So when you go to really traditional Mughlai restaurants, too spicy for me. I'm Bengali, can't do it. So I'm Rizala and Korma and chicken chop. They don't have all this spicy food, I can't.
So, cities around, Indians around, other Asian cities, for example, Bangkok has so many Michelin restaurants. We don't seem to have any. Why is that? Is it pattern of this place?
Well, first of all, Michelin needs to come to India. It hasn't come to India, but this is also symptomatic of Michelin. Michelin does not get our food. There is the obsession is the French style of looking at cuisine, the wine pairing, the way that food is served in courses. This is alien to our culture. This doesn't fit in. So when you see this Indian restaurants that have got Michelin stars in the West, they make the food look French. They separate, there's a separate piece of meat,
Away from it.
the salad, as I call it, the juice, as I call it, poured around. There is edible flowers and micro herbs. If I want to eat flowers and herbs, I will go to a garden and eat it. I have boiled water on my plate. But this whole idea that which in the Pagol mind in this country you use flowers to cover anything. Someone puts flowers on my food, I will not eat it. 5 insects will come out of it. So, we have gulab, yes, that's a tradition of putting gulab on something. That is a different thing. No special sauce. But all kinds of random microorganisms are not our style. But you need to make the food look French or Chinese or anything but Indian for you to get a Michelin star. That is how it's a copycat effect. Everybody is copying like a particular fixed idea. They have picked on a couple of restaurants and think, oh, this is Indian food. It's completely faked, generalized. What is Indian food? It's like saying, I'm going to go into European food. What are you going to do? India is a country of huge diversity. This generic Indian food where people they eat properly, and Zareen, have a bath in ghee and cream and wash our face with butter. Honestly, there is so much dairy in there, you can get killed with that amount of dairy. Who has so much dairy? There is a dairy over here. By the time you have dairy in Calcutta, by the time my youngest child gets out of bed and comes to eat, the food will have split. It's ridiculous. The whole notion of this. I mean, I've seen people who say, oh yes, Indian dal, the kari dal. Tell me percentage-wise, how many Indians eat that kari dal? And in Bengal, we ate that every day. For 4 days, we will not get up. We will not get up. Our digestion, Bengali digestion will collapse. Digesting urad dal, this full urad dal with cream and butter. Bengalis are not going to work for 4 days. People's idea of have not got the right guidance, the knowledge. Most importantly, Michelin does not have the respect for our culture. If they come in, they must come in humble and understand. This is a great nation. This is a nation that the culinary heritage going back to the ancient civilization, where from a broken pot they could say the spices were used to cook over here. From that civilization, we did food, we used spices. For us, food was medicine, before it was nourishment. We are far more advanced than all the cuisines today, which Michelin is praying to and buying now. All of this cuisine has come well after us. But if they do not understand this, do not come into India with the arrogance that you have. Because almost French focus and the Western obsession with food and courses, they will never do justice. We will be shocked to see people get Michelin star. So yes, we don't have a Michelin star, but in the West, where there are Indian restaurants who have not Michelin stars, you look at them and say, can I relate to anything like that? I cannot relate to the narrative. So, I mean, I have taken on Michelin many times. I told them that when there's evidence of bullying in a Michelin restaurant, take away the star. They say, oh, we don't have the capacity to do that. You have the capacity to give the star. Why do you not have the capacity to remove the star? But they are not sincere. They took a long time, then they replied to me, saying, we can't figure this out. I told them, you're so unimpressed by our answer. Because I don't need to bow down to Michelin. I'm one of the few chefs who is at the level that I am, who takes on Michelin fearlessly. Because I know one thing. My khasha mangsho and my prawn malai curry and my momo, they will not understand. That's great. Because that shows that it's real food. I don't need to make my food into some French, Japanese, tapas style. Yeah, this I always say 1-inch food in a 4-inch plate. But in my daddy would die again. Where is the rice, where is the roti? You're giving them inchy food and saying this is Indian food. And even in the poorest house you will go to, they will empty their entire kitchen and they will feed you with respect. Not grand, but they will give their heart to you. This is our heritage. Give me a Michelin star for that. Not that I made 1-inch food with flowers on top and say this is my food. It is an insult. Performance, this is how they judge. And so, somehow the other, Thai food has managed to navigate this, and even a street stall can get a street. Because somehow they managed to figure this out. But their racism and their prejudice against the brown food made by my brown skin, they can't get. My food is brown, I am brown, I am proud of this. You don't get it, it's your problem. That's why Michelin always have a problem. If you look at the food being served at Michelin star restaurants, they fit in with the norms of what they think is Indian. They don't deviate from that. They stay in that. They stay in their lane. And they're all staying in the lane and keeping each other together because they're huddled in this glow of Michelin. Good for them. I think that Indian food is evolving outside this. Indian food is evolving and Indian food is doing so well. There's so many interesting, exciting things happening. In the West, in this country as well. I don't know. You can. It's good that Michelin came. It will become raise the profile of Indian food. But it will be interesting to see whether they get it right because they never get it right. They are notorious for not getting it right. And I'm in the diet. I'm very outspoken. I'm in the Michelin diet from the very beginning. They highly recommend me and they praise me a lot. They suggested to me to do a tasting menu. I never will because I will end up getting one star then, which is a disaster because I criticize them so much. They might decide to give her a star and shut her up. But though I'm joking, but I would want to this bakwas, I'm giving courses of food.
I think the last question should be about the biryani debate. You come from a confluence of so many cultures being in the UK, then you have your Bengali parents, the UP side, the North Indian side. So, which biryani are you more favorable to? As in, you serve the Kolkata biryani, and it is the Kolkata biryani, but and we are die-hard fans of the Kolkata biryani as well. So, how have you seen others react to the biryani? Like the ones that are exposed to the Hyderabadi or
my first position is that if you have biryani, you get quietly eat biryani and enjoy it. Because this is not for everybody. You get biryani, you should be happy with it.
When I lived in Bangalore, people just criticize me. Kolkata biryani, no.
No, this is a very bad part of our heritage that we criticize each other. But aside from all of this, the best biryani is Kolkata biryani. But I will not criticize other people's biryani. But they're not as good. Let me see.
When I studied at Warwick, I tried your supper club, the beginning, the former days, the beginning of the journey. And I just, that's like comfort food. It's just like a bowl of soup or that like warm hug, it's
And North Indian biryani without potatoes. I want to say something. My parents, mashallah, been married for over 50 years. People still remember when my parents got married. My father's from Aligarh. They came in the Bharat, but my father's Muslim Rajput, so women don't come in the Bharat. Because Rajputs used to fight with each other in the rings, so they never took their women. The men stayed at home. So they ate, all the men went back and told their wives, we have got our boy married to a very poor family. They are saving money on meat, they were full of potatoes. And my mother's, all her relatives, kept coming and telling that please have a piece of potato, not understanding. That time, they can't understand anything after Kolkata biryani. So these hardcore UP people, they were not giving meat, they kept coming and putting a potato on their plate. They were saying that the cheapest people in the world. Who was this girl? They're so cheap. They kept giving us aloo and aloo. I remember I was this size, people were telling me, wow, your mother for a wedding, you'll never forget, they kept giving us aloo and biryani. Imagine, they still have not understood this. They can't get ahead. But that's a generation, They're all passed away, And the last one of that, to tell me, is now 95. But that generation didn't understand. But people find potatoes interesting and challenging. And I think better than the rice, better than the meat, the potatoes. But when we have, we give the leftovers to people to take away. Who are the Bengalis? Because they're not taking anything. They're just pushing potatoes in the box and then sprinkle the rice on top. And they may or may not take the meat. But they will put in all the almonds. It's so funny. No, it is in our DNA. It is deep, so deeply ingrained that they misbehave and they will fight with other people to eat potatoes. My mind is just shocked. But also I laugh because I know the Bengalis will go fight and they ask other people, if you're not taking, you will take. And they must be imagine in a restaurant, you go to that pick up their basket, whatever they're not taking, they're not eating it. But Bengalis will do it in my supper club. I'm just like, I don't even say anything. I don't say anything because they've gone for what the other tables, which the British people or other North Indians, is saying the worst thing. They've come not to take the meat. They've asked if they can take the potatoes. But I know.
I saw the King of England wanted to take home his share.
Yes.
So how was that proud moment?
He was amazing. Absolutely amazing. My kitchen is very narrow. When the security came in, they said you can't enter because it's so narrow. There's protocol. And the king said, I've heard of these size men and talk about the status of women. He says, how would I look standing outside as a man? And my wife went in. He said, I will go in and I will find out. And he did that. And not only that, he broke the protocol and went further in and met all my women, which he was not supposed to. He's an amazing guy. Amazing guy. And really sweet guy. I went to Windsor the next night. I stayed in his house. He went to meet my husband. Very unusual. This usually kept for diplomatic people or royal family. The food was great. Breakfast was amazing. Breakfast was amazing. Food was beautiful and really delicious, very traditional Yorkshire pudding, vegetable. Vegetables were grown by the king in his personal garden. Very, very nice. And they had heritage carrots, the small heritage carrots were delicious. He had a sense of humor because he asked me what did you like, and I said, I read in the menu that the vegetables were from his garden. I said, oh, the vegetables were very nice. He said, oh God, call the chef, she did the meat. I said, I did. I said, I was trying to flatter you. I said, because it says the vegetables are grown by you. Because he said, how do you like the food? So I thought this is a nice thing to say. If I know your father grew something or you grow something, of course I would say this is particularly nice because you know it. He laughed. He says, call the chef, she hated everything. Only like the vegetables. I was like, this is so unfair. He's really wonderful. At the end of the evening, everybody retired to the saloon to have the King's collection. I don't drink alcohol, so you know that don't go in because then you can't get out. So from the back, I slipped out. I was walking to my room, I heard the King behind me. Let me walk you to your room. All the aides were behind me. He says, I saw your great escape. He said, I know you don't drink, so you're eating. And then I told him, sir, you can't come. I said, you wait, give me one of your guys. I pointed to one guy, said, you don't. But so sharp. I saw him at the end of the room. By the time I reached the outside, he was already there. So he must have just walked out. And no one stops the king, so he just walked out. A room full of people. He came out. He was lovely. He's lovely and really sweet and humble and kind and, the palace asked, the king is happy to unveil a flag, which is normally done in an official thing. Unveiling a flag is a very big thing. So there's a plaque in my restaurant that he unveiled. So people come in who are not customers. They come, take a picture of the flag and then run away. But I knew this would happen. I put it near the door. So when they were telling me where should I put the flag, I said, I know what will happen. Everybody will come, take picture and run away. They don't want to sit in the restaurant. Yeah, sure. People come and take care of it.
That's not fair.
I mean, I want, if you are looking for something, come to my restaurant. You may not have a table, you may not be able to eat because you are very full and very busy. But you should feel the right to walk in. There's a little piece of Kolkata in English. And that's and we are very large-hearted people. Very much so.